Hey, I know a lot of you have really been loving the new Circle Back White House. I'm going to return you to a time when press secretaries actually answered questions from the press and did so with the majesty of 1,000 lionesses. This is Sarah Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany's top 3 most savage moments.
I'd like to drill down on something that Peter asked yesterday, and I profess my ignorance in this, but next week when he goes for his
you said
dog
it, not
smile,
me. Yeah.
So
I mean, if you want to call yourself ignorant,
I am.
I'm not going to argue.
The media has never called it the Kung Flu. Calling it the Chinese coronavirus and calling it the Kung Flu are very different.
The media and your network specifically
called it the Kung Flu.
The media and your network specifically have repeatedly used the term China virus and Wuhan virus, and then gone on to deride the president as somehow using a term that they themselves have never used. So we can go through CNN's history.
Kayleigh.
I'd be more than happy to go through CNN's history. On February 9th, you guys talked about the Wuhan coronavirus. On January 23rd, you guys talked about the Wuhan coronavirus. On January 22nd, the Wuhan virus. I can write it all out for you and detail it for you in an email.
Kayleigh,
yes, Justin.
To admit that. It is not the same thing as calling it the Kung
Justin.
Flu.
Blake?
Will the president be reading Hillary Clinton's book? And what does he think about the excerpts that have gotten out so far?
Whether or not he's going to read Hillary Clinton's book, I am not sure, but I would think that he's pretty well versed on what happened, and I think it's pretty clear to all of America. I think it's sad that after Hillary Clinton ran one of the most negative campaigns in history and lost, and the last chapter of her public life is going to be now defined by propping up book sales with false and reckless attacks, and I think that that's a sad way for her to continue this work.
Kayleigh, in a previous life, before you were press secretary, you worked for the campaign, and you made a comment, I believe, on Fox, in which you said President Trump will not allow the coronavirus to come to this country. Given what has happened since then, obviously, would you like to take that back?
Well, first let me note, I was asked a question on Fox Business about President's travel restrictions. I noted what was the intent behind those travel restrictions, which is we will not see the coronavirus come here. We will not see terrorism come here, referring to an earlier set of travel restrictions. I guess I would turn the question back on the media and ask similar questions. Does Vox want to take back that they proclaim that the coronavirus would not be a deadly pandemic? Does the Washington Post want to take back that they told Americans to get a grip, the flu is bigger than the coronavirus? Does the Washington Post likewise want to take back that our brains are causing us to exaggerate the threat of the coronavirus? Does the New York Times want to take back that fear of the virus may be spreading faster than the virus itself? Does NPR want to take back that the flu was a much bigger threat than the coronavirus? And finally, once again, the Washington Post, would they like to take back that the government should not respond aggressively to the coronavirus? I'll leave you with those questions, and maybe you'll have some answers in a few days. Yep.
Kayleigh,
Thank you very much.
Been folks out there who have said, there's a cause and effect. He watches something on Fox and Friends, and then he tweets about it. Is that what happened this morning, and does that go on?
I'm sure you're disappointed he's not watching CNN.
I think he watched a lot of CNN, if you don't mind.
I don't think that's true. Your numbers would be higher.
Next question. I think Sarah used to always joke about 2-question Tuesday. I think sometimes I get 4 or 5 question Wednesday.
I just want to make sure that people who have a problem with what they saw Monday have a chance to have that addressed. I mean, what do you say to Americans who are just outraged by what they saw? And
what I would say is,
in front of a church.
What I would say is this: officers have a right to defend themselves. And, I've watched a lot of your coverage. I've watched a lot of the nation's coverage. And let's go through some of the things that happen when officers don't defend and protect themselves. In St. Louis, 4 police officers were shot. In Las Vegas, an officer was shot in the head and is on life support. In New York, a cop was beat up by people. In Providence, 4 to 5 police officers and state troopers were injured. And in Ashbury Park, New Jersey, a police officer was injured. Police officers are out on the front lines. They're defending and protecting you as you come into this building each and every day, Jim. We owe them honor. We owe them respect. And when they are under attack, they have the ability to defend themselves.
How does the president expect his Secretary of State to be effective when he's questioning his intelligence?
Again, he wasn't questioning the Secretary of State's intelligence. He made a joke. Maybe you guys should get a sense of humor and try it sometime.
Thank you all very much. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I hope we start seeing more consistent headlines. Thanks very much.